Hello, YouTube. On the night of August 12, 2024, the northern lights, or Aurora Borealis, were observed in both hemispheres of the planet Earth and in the middle latitudes, even south of Moscow, Russia. They were also observed. Such was the strength of the geomagnetic storm that provoked it. But the storm sent not only the northern lights. The amateur astronomers who photographed it captured something even more amazing, namely the phenomenon called STEVE, Strong Thermal Velocity Enhancement. It's a kind of fiery snake, fiery serpent, in the atmosphere, which appears against the background of the flashes of the northern lights. During STEVE, a long, thick ribbon of light, usually white, purple, or green in color, appears to hang in the sky for up to an hour. Although it looks very similar to auroras, or northern lights, and often appears at the same time, STEVE is not an aurora. One of the very impressive pictures of the snake was shared on social networks by someone named Ian Griffin from New Zealand. Scientists still don't really understand the nature of the phenomenon. At one time, they considered the strange, narrow, luminous ribbons to be just a kind of aurora borealis, and they drew special attention to them after strange images began to appear on amateur astronomers' forums in 2017. Here's what the scientists say. The primary sources of space weather are solar flares and associated solar coronal mass ejections. These eruptive events on the sun release photons and energetic particles that collide with Earth and its protective magnetic field, or magnetosphere. When a coronal mass ejection reaches Earth, it energizes the electrons and protons in the magnetosphere and accelerates them down the magnetic field lines to regions near the north and south poles, where the electrons and protons collide with oxygen and nitrogen in Earth's upper atmosphere. This process excites atoms and molecules, which then release visible light in the polar sky called the aurora. Observing the aurora is one of the only ways that we can directly experience space weather. The configuration of the Earth's magnetic field makes it so aurora borealis and australis, northern and southern lights, are most easily observed in polar regions. However, in the rare case of an intense solar storm, the aurora can be seen almost to the equator. But it doesn't tell us exactly about STEVE. And you need to know that in 2018, NASA appealed to general public to help find STEVE. A citizen science project called Auroras, funded by NASA and the National Science Foundation, wanted your help gathering photos so they can learn more about this mysterious phenomenon. Auroras tracks appearances of auroras and now STEVE around the world through users submitting reports and photographs directly on its mobile application and on aurorasaurus.org. What should you know if you want to see STEVE? Below are tips, according to NASA, from what they have learned so far in the general STEVE hunting, so to say. 1. STEVE appears closer to the equator than where normal, often green auroras appear. It appears approximately 5 to 10 degrees farther south in the northern hemisphere. This means it could appear overhead at latitudes similar to Calgary, Canada. The phenomenon has been reported from the United States, Canada, Alaska, northern United States, New Zealand, and United Kingdom. Steve is a very narrow arc, aligned east-west, and extends for hundreds or thousands of miles. Incredible. Well, sometimes the phenomenon is accompanied by a rapidly evolving green picket fence structure that is short-lived. Steve can last 20 minutes to an hour. Steve has only been spotted so far in the presence of an aurora, but you see, the auroras, they occur often without Steve. Scientists are investigating to learn more about how the two phenomena are connected. Steve may only appear in certain seasons. For example, it wasn't observed from October 2016 to February 2017. It also wasn't seen from October 2017 to February 2018. Steve mostly emits light in purple hues. So keep your eyes open and protect them when looking up there. And maybe one day we'll find out more about this mysterious new phenomena. I'm not sure how new it is, but apparently NASA was not aware of it for a while. Strong thermal velocity enhancement. And I'll bring you more stories about our sun and strange phenomena associated with it, and our atmosphere as well. If you like my research, please support me through the links you'll find in the description to this channel. Please tell others about my work. Please like my videos. Thank you for your attention to my work.